The fully awakened heart knows what it is to love unconditionally. What could be more life-altering than to come to dwell as, radically fearless love? Liberated from the familiar human ache to control, to defend against pain. Rinsed of it all, wide open consciousness is felt as being boundless. Acceptance of what is becomes a profound door opener. There is no separation between you and what you're presently aware of. Consciousness itself is not apart from what it detects. If a thing is real, then perceiving human awareness is, for the duration of that moment, that reality. The awakened heart unflinchingly takes in what's real. The processing mind, so well equipped to deny reality, to recoil from its challenges, is brought to utter quietude. Nor can the egoic human mind remotely fathom such an experience, focused as it is on orienting to ever-changing reality, necessarily maintaining the sense of an independent self. What typically occupies us as people is this: where am I in relation to this that's happening? But that presupposes there is an I, and that it is apart from what's happening to it, or around it. Hence the ceaseless need to sort out how to orient to each thing as it comes along. The whole thing is exhausting. Awakening, mercifully, delivers a person from all of it. Talk about deliverance. Sometimes in a human life, love is confronted with hideous suffering. I once read an account by an awake person of sitting in a theatre watching a film about the dropping of the atomic bomb on Japan, containing footage of the devastation. The movie was unflinching in its close-up portrayal of the nightmare visited upon the victims of the bombings. As the viewer took in, without recoiling, the images and sounds on the screen, he became aware of something bizarre within himself. The footage seemed to have brought him to a state of something like ecstasy. Naturally curious, he mused upon what had happened, and eventually was able to account for the seeming contradiction between the pain he was confronting and the condition of his own interior. What he saw was this: when faced with that enormity of suffering inflicted by one people upon another, consciousness is asked to widen to such an unaccustomed extent, to open beyond its familiar spaciousness, that what becomes primary is not the agony and the cruelty being witnessed, but the purely accepting love that is holding it all. Unbounded consciousness is felt as love, not the familiar oh-so-human emotion, tainted by need and hunger, associated with comfort and mutuality. This love is of a different order of reality, even as it surely does register in the heart. What could be more ecstatic than love taking over so thoroughly that there simply is no other reality? Even as, yes, the human self is in the presence of visceral agony. The excellent mind of a human being, even a fully awake person, is simply incapable of accounting for this seeming contradiction. The palpable experience underway is altogether outside the bounds of anything recognizable. Nothing has equipped us to understand. An inner quiet descends. Time is felt to stop. In the profound stillness at the heart of extremity, a person may report having never felt so throttlingly alive. even as, yes, death is staring them in the face. For what could more radically shake a person awake than such a crisis? For into that arrested and arresting moment descended a quiet miracle, enabling them to know, perhaps for the first and final time, the blessedness of simple aliveness. What could be more precious than such a moment? And yet, to the ordinary mind, what could be more bewildering? Here is the compelling question. Why does it take something so awful to bring us to this recognition? It is rare to love without conditions put on it. There's the wish for the feeling to be reciprocated. Nor do we welcome the unknowability of what lies ahead for one dear to us. It's a tall order indeed to look in the face of the truth that we cannot assure the well-being of anyone. I will love you if you love me back, if you promise never to leave me. There is no more reliable way to imprison the heart, nor, ironically, most poignantly, to drive a distance between two people. In an atmosphere of allowing, love can be a deliciously wide open space with a sweet breeze blowing through it. Unconditional love has nothing whatever to do with need. Putting condition on it places confines around the heart, making it smaller than it would otherwise be. Love without condition is not about me. It's not about anything. Unconstrained love is what it is to be deliciously alive. Meanwhile, the biggest risk of all is the one most of us gladly, if unconsciously, take start to finish. That we will never know the felt experience of radical love. For to fully love, in unresisting acceptance of reality, asks a great deal of the human heart. Yet the cost of this trade-off is dear indeed. Just ask someone on their deathbed, was it wise, after all, to put constraints on the heart? If they had to do it over, is that how they would live? God save you from that regret, dear heart. Risk be damned. Putting conditions on love boxes it in, makes it smaller than it would be. You must love me back. Promise never to leave me. If you're my child, I need to be able to keep you safe, assure your happiness. So instead of love being endless space, fresh air moving softly through it, it becomes a little windowless, boxed-in, suffocating cell. Love has nothing whatever to do with attachment of any sort. Yet how that does fly in the face of our usual understanding of the most exalted of human emotions. No wonder unconditional love is so rare. The curious truth is that we deeply, if unconsciously, know the limits on our own ability to guarantee anything, whether for ourselves or for another. This unbearable reality is the source of lifelong anxiety that nothing seems to be able to soothe. Yet what has constituted our most profound terror can oddly become the environment of the most profound peace. It is actually relieving to cease distancing ourselves from what we've secretly known all along to be the case, that the future is unknowable. To allow ourselves to rest in the truth of the absence of control is to come at last to dwell in the land of being with reality as it is. There, in the context of yielding to the perennial uncertainty, the heart is undefended. It is able at long and delicious last to know what it is to love without condition, without need. What could be more radically restful, more alive? Such a relief, such a surprise. May it not require the nearness of death to fully open your heart. The risk of wide open love is much less than the nightmare risk of not having really lived, having not really loved without condition.